Plant FAQs. Dorstenia gigas. What is Dorstenia gigas? Dorstenia gigas is a fascinating and unique plant from the Socotra archipelago, located off the coast of Yemen. This succulent is part of the Moraceae family and has an unusual appearance, featuring a swollen, bulbous trunk with greenish-gray stems and broad, leathery leaves. It's an eye-catching plant because of its alien-like look and distinctive shape, which makes it a favorite among succulent enthusiasts and collectors. The fact that it thrives in arid conditions adds to its appeal for people who want a low-maintenance, yet exotic plant. How to grow Dorstenia gigas. Growing Dorstenia gigas is an enjoyable challenge for gardeners, particularly those with an interest in rare or tropical species. This plant thrives in well-draining soil, such as a cactus or succulent mix, because it needs to avoid sitting in water. I find it helpful to incorporate sand or perlite to enhance the drainage. While Dorstenia gigas prefers bright, indirect light, it's important to protect it from harsh direct sunlight, which can scorch its leaves. In my experience, placing it near a sunny window or under grow lights works well. Watering is key when growing Dorstenia gigas. I water mine thoroughly, then let the soil dry out before watering again. During the summer, it needs more frequent watering, but in the winter, you'll want to scale back as the plant enters a dormant phase. How to care for Dorstenia gigas. Caring for Dorstenia gigas requires a balance of the right conditions. It's a hardy plant, but like all succulents, it needs certain conditions to thrive. Here are the basics of care. Watering. As mentioned, I let the soil dry between watering. Overwatering is one of the biggest risks with Dorstenia gigas, as it can lead to root rot. Temperature. This plant prefers warm temperatures and doesn't handle cold well. In my experience, temperatures between 65 degrees Fahrenheit and 85 degrees Fahrenheit are ideal. Humidity. Though it comes from a relatively dry climate, Dorstenia gigas appreciates moderate humidity. I found that a standard room environment works well. Feeding. During the growing season, spring and summer, I use a diluted succulent fertilizer once a month. In the winter, I stop feeding altogether. How to propagate Dorstenia gigas. Propagating Dorstenia gigas can be a bit tricky, but it is possible. This plant typically propagates through seed, though cuttings can be used in rare cases. For seed propagation, I let the flower heads mature and dry out, then collect the seeds. After sowing them in a well-draining soil mix, I keep the soil moist, but not wet, and place the pot in a warm, bright spot. It takes patience, but with time, you should start to see new growth. Can you grow Dorstenia gigas indoors? Yes, you can definitely grow Dorstenia gigas indoors. In fact, I've had great success with mine indoors as long as it's placed near a source of bright, indirect light. A sunny windowsill or a spot under a grow light works wonders. Indoors, it's easier to control temperature and light conditions, both of which are crucial for the health of the plant. Is Dorstenia gigas toxic? One thing that people often ask me is whether Dorstenia gigas is toxic. Thankfully, this plant is considered non-toxic to humans and pets, so you don't need to worry about keeping it in households with animals or small children. That being said, I still prefer to keep it out of reach, just to avoid any accidental damage to the plant. What a plant with Dorstenia gigas. Because of its unique appearance, Dorstenia gigas looks great when paired with other succulents or cacti. I like planting mine alongside species like aloe or echeveria for a striking contrast in shape and texture. These plants have similar watering and light requirements, making them ideal companions. Common problems with Dorstenia gigas. Like any plant, Dorstenia gigas can face a few common problems. One of the biggest issues I've encountered is root rot, which happens if the plant is overwatered or if the soil doesn't drain properly. That's why it's crucial to use a well-draining soil mix and not let the plant sit in water. Another problem I've seen is leaf yellowing, which can indicate overwatering or poor light conditions. Pests are relatively rare with Dorstenia gigas, but mealybugs or aphids can occasionally appear. I keep an eye on my plant and remove pests with a cotton swab dipped in rubbing alcohol if needed. Benefits of Dorstenia gigas. Aside from its unique aesthetic, Dorstenia gigas is incredibly low maintenance once you understand its needs. For those of us who love collecting rare plants, this one is both resilient and rewarding to grow. Its intriguing form and slow-growing nature make it a long-term addition to any plant collection. I also appreciate how it can survive in relatively dry indoor environments without demanding constant attention. Can Dorstenia gigas be confused with similar plants? Dorstenia gigas is often confused with other caduciform succulents, like Adenium or Pachypodium species, due to their similarly swollen trunks. However, Dorstenia has distinct, paddle-like leaves and produces unusual green flowers that help set it apart. Once you've grown one for a while, its unique characteristics become easy to recognize. Final thoughts on Dorstenia gigas. For those looking to add a touch of the exotic to their plant collection, Dorstenia gigas is a fantastic choice. With proper care, it thrives indoors and offers a rare beauty that few other plants can match. Just be mindful of its watering needs and avoid overexposure to direct sunlight. For me, growing Dorstenia gigas has been a rewarding experience, and I can't recommend it enough to fellow plant lovers.